go up this week.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's supposed to get up to 70
Oh,
on
thank
Sunday.
goodness.
It's
About
gonna be in,
damn
like, the
time.
60s, I think.
It's about that time.
My mom was mad because she just went back to Florida.
Yeah?
And she was like, of course when I'm going back to Florida, it's gonna start getting warmer here.
Great. Hi, it's Ethereal Rose. We are back with another episode of Conversations. Today's guest is Slayvannah.
Hello.
Slayvannah has a brand new album out. It's called Welcome to the Sphere. I listened to it this morning from start to finish. Freaking incredible.
Thank you.
Oh, which song was it? One of those songs, the bass line, like, grabbed me by the heart. I want to say it was Kids?
Could be. Maybe Pop Vulture. Pop Vulture is the second track.
No. What's the third? What is the third track on the album?
Freaking Out.
It was Freaking Out. Freaking Out kicked in, and I was like, oh.
That's one of my favorites.
I was like, oh, let's go. Like, the bass line grabbed me right away. Like, grabbed me by the heart, and I was like, this is freaking incredible. Now, first things first, where should we be following you online?
Slayvannah Davis on all socials.
All social media. SLAYVANNAH Davis on all social media platforms. And then, do you have any scheduled shows coming up right now?
Not as of now.
Okay, no problem. Do you think you'll end up doing an album drop show?
I think I will be.
Okay, perfect. Yep, and if we're following you online, then we won't miss it.
Yeah.
Where did your name come from?
Okay. I have a kind of funny story about that.
Okay.
I was on, like, Stan Twitter big when I was a teenager.
Okay.
And so I was, like, part of the Gaga fandom, obviously.
Yes.
And I made a really good friend through that fandom when I was, like, 15.
Okay.
And his name was Patrick. He's from Ireland.
Okay.
Shout out, Patrick, if you're watching this.
Hey, Patrick.
I just remember that time I recorded, like, my first, like, song, and it was a song I wrote for Gaga called Hero. And I showed him the song, and he was like, Slay, that was when Slay first became a really big thing. So he was like, that's Slayvannah. And I was like, okay. And at first it was Slayvannah, because my name is Savannah.
I have always wondered if I was pronouncing your name incorrectly this whole time.
Everybody pronounces it differently. It was initially Slayvannah.
Okay.
And then it became Slayvannah because... This is a silly little story.
Let's hear it.
When I was in my senior year of high school, I went to a meet and greet. I was really obsessed with Fifth Harmony. I went to a meet and greet for Camila Cabello, and she asked what my name was, and I said Slayvannah, and she said, Slayvannah? And I was like,
yup.
Yeah, honestly. So I kind of owe my name to Patrick and Camila Cabello.
That is an incredible story.
Yeah.
How could you call that story little before you told it? That made no sense.
It's just a silly little thing.
That's a huge story. You were named by Camila Cabello. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I already know the answer to this question, but for the people online who are getting to know you for the first time, who are your greatest idols and influences, and why?
Oh, I don't know. That's a tough one. I'll say Lady Gaga.
Ding.
Gaga is definitely, like, number one for me.
Yeah.
My absolute idol.
What was it about Gaga when you first... I mean, can you think of the very first time that you laid eyes on Lady Gaga?
I remember the exact moment.
Yes, please. Like, I want that moment. Please describe it to me.
So I was living in a townhome, obviously, like, with my family. We lived in a townhome. And this is when, like, cable TV was still a thing, because for some reason it's not anymore.
Yeah.
Wake up, America. But it was when cable TV was still a thing. And I remember having on, it wasn't MTV, because MTV stopped playing, like, music videos at that point.
Yes.
It was Fuse. It was Fuse TV. And I remember I was obsessed with Owl City, so I watched the Owl City, the Fireflies music video came on. Right after that, the Poker Face music video came on.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my god. I was like, I love this. The dogs, everything about it. I was just like, oh my god. like this woman, I don't know, it was just a love at first sight kind of thing. And I remember I used to like sit on like a yoga ball a lot at that time, so I was just like sitting on that yoga ball and I was just in front of the TV like.
And it stopped you in your tracks.
Stopped me in my tracks. And from there, I did my 6th grade biography report on her. Yeah. And I just followed every single thing she's done since then.
Yeah. And when you did the research into her background, did you just fall in love with her story?
I did, because I related so much to like everything that she went through that got her where she was.
Okay.
And I was like, so then I can become that. Because I also was like bullied a lot when I was younger, and so I felt safe. I was bullied. I was like called weird. I wasn't like the first person you look at and is like, oh, that person's really cool. I'm like the person that they're like, that person's kind of a little bit annoying, and you know, I just got bullied a lot.
Okay.
So I just really felt like connected to her in that way, and I also played piano, and I kept going with it because of her, because I learned paparazzi on the piano.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So I like owe everything that I am right now to her and her influence.
So she was kind of your shining light, like, just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it just a fucking tragedy that they don't play music videos on television anymore?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Please, will just one streaming service make one channel that plays non-stop music videos
all the time.
Like, that is such a strong part of my upbringing.
Yeah.
Is literally pulling all-nighters, sitting in front of VH1 and MTV, literally flipping back and forth between the two over and over again. Like, anytime, and just being, this close to the screen. That's probably why I needed fucking LASIK. But being this close to the screen and just, like, with my jaw on the floor for pretty much the whole night long. Yep. My aunt would come in the room and scream at me. She's like, get your ass in bed! Yeah. It's 4 a.m. You haven't gone to bed. I'm like, no. Yeah. No, I can't. Yeah. I can't.
Because people have, like, music videos are so underrated in the sense that it's like people don't get as excited for them anymore. Yeah. I feel like it's just kind of a, like, there's too many high expectations on it. Okay. And there's too many, they want to get the views. Instead of like, because when it's like playing on the TV, you're not focused on how many views it's getting. You're like, me and this person right here, this is just us right here.
I am in their world right now.
No comment section.
I mean, this is their art. This is their soul being displayed on a screen. Yeah. It's a big fucking deal. I feel like only other artists really get it. I'm not trying to be elitist, I swear. Yeah. How did you know that you wanted to do music?
I think it's just something I genuinely was, like, born with. It was never a question. I can't remember a time in my life where I, like, questioned, like, what I wanted to do. I don't even remember, like, the exact, like, thing. It was just felt like something I was, like, already born to do. It was just like, oh, yeah, I'm doing this.
Were you always singing along with the radio as a kid?
I was. But my, like, I think the earliest memory I have of, like, doing anything musical. Yeah. I lived in Colorado for like 3 years when I was like 4 until I was 7. Okay. And my dad owned a restaurant in Colorado Springs, and he was like just opening it. And I remember I had a friend. He was like this rich, spoiled kid. Yeah. And I would go to his house, and he'd have all these like nice things, and one of those things was a keyboard. Okay. Just like a keyboard that had like the pre-programmed sounds, like, you know. Yep. Just a regular keyboard. Yep. And I remember going over there and playing with these like space type of sounds. Like I'd put on a beat and then I just go. Yeah. And it was very like dreamy, and I was like, oh my god, I could be the next Avril Lavigne. Yeah. And so I asked my parents, I was like, can I get a keyboard? And, you know, we weren't rich, so they bought me one of those, like, little toy ones. Yeah. But I was like, good enough. Yeah. And I asked my friend, I said, let's call him Steve. Okay. I said, Steve, do you want to start a band? And he was like, yeah. And so he got his big keyboard, Mr. Fancy Man. And then I had my little kid's keyboard, and we would, like, rehearse. And then I asked my dad one day, I was like, Dad, can we perform at your restaurant?
Wow.
And he said, you know what, yeah.
Wow. How old were you at this time?
I was probably about 6.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
And he said, yeah, and I'm thinking, oh my god, our first, like, big gig.
Yeah.
Like, this is, like, it.
That's huge.
Yeah, and looking back, I'm like, it wasn't a very busy place.
Okay.
During the day.
Okay.
Time, so nobody was there.
Still
but
counts
we
for
performed
something.
our asses off.
I'll bet.
And
were you singing and dancing the whole?
I hadn't even found my singing voice yet at that point. I wasn't like a singer when I was a kid. I was like a beat maker.
Okay.
Like I was just like feeling the music. I did like sing a lot of, this is when High School Musical came out, like around that time. Sang a lot of High School Musical. I had my little like portable CD player with like you put the disc
yes.
and
yes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and I
can't live without it.
Yeah. I have one in my room. I have a big stereo. And then I had I grew up like raised in like a Christian household, not like strictly Christian.
Okay.
But like we went to church.
Okay.
And so a lot of my CDs consisted of like there was like Avril Lavigne, there was High School Musical, then there was like church songs for kids.
Okay.
So I just like sing. I think there was also like my dad's music that he listened to, like Michael Jackson, Prince, all that stuff.
Yes.
But yeah, I just remember singing like I sang a lot of theme songs for like shows and movies too.
Okay.
But
did you love theater?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You loved theater right away.
Yeah. I wasn't like obviously like well versed in it where I'm like I can spot this Broadway number right there. But it was like I just liked the idea of I was always putting on the show. Like I look at my home videos and my mom has the camera out and my sister is like all shy and she doesn't talk. I'm like, put the camera on me because I'm here to entertain. I have so many videos where I'm like, Mom, put it on me. And then I'm just like, welcome to Savannah's News Live. I have an actual like there's a clip where I'm like, welcome to Savannah's News Live. And it's just like, I don't have much else to say, but I'm gonna find something to say.
You're like, today's top story is...
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think past this part.
Yeah.
Whoops. That happens.
So I've always been like entertaining and... Yeah. Then Hannah Montana came out. Right before I moved from Colorado back to Minnesota.
Okay.
And that became like, that really was what like kick-started like, I want to be a rock star.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then how would you say that your sound has evolved since probably your first pop album?
I feel like I've been better at having fun with it.
Okay.
Not that like any music I've released, I've had fun with it, and I think you can like hear that in the music.
Yeah.
But
definitely. I
think with this album specifically, like Welcome to the Sphere, I was really inspired by like Waterparks, the band Waterparks.
Okay.
Because Austin Knight, he's like a genius.
Okay.
I think he's a genius. And when I listen to like Waterparks music, it's so fun. It's such fun music. And I was like, you know what? Why am I like, I feel like from my past projects, anything, it's all been genuine, but it's all just been a small percentage of who I am.
Okay.
Instead of like the more vulnerable sides, because I kind of had in my head that I'm like, if I want to be, in the same,
caliber
as Gaga, then I have to keep like a sort of party girl image, or I have to like just focus on like the glamour side of it. I was like, I have to look famous because like I remember watching a Gaga interview and she was like, I knew I was famous. I let everybody know I was famous before I was famous. So I was like, okay, I guess I have to do that at least for now. Then when I'm famous, I could start being more like vulnerable. So it was kind of a waiting game for me, and I think it just made it harder for me to like create music because I was like, okay, well, I haven't made it yet, so I have to be careful with how vulnerable I'm being because then I'm just going to be some like crazy bitch on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah. So I decided with this album just musically to have more fun with it. That's why a lot of the songs are very short. Because I'm like, fuck the structure, fuck like the overthinking and trying to stick with like one concept. Yes. I have so many different thoughts and feelings. I have so much mental illness that I'm just like, sometimes I might feel like I'm freaking out. Sometimes I might feel like, you know, I want to fall in love. Sometimes I might feel like I want to die. You know, there are just like so many different things that exist, and so I wanted to be more like vulnerable with that. And I was like, I don't care because I haven't done anything in years, so I didn't think anyone would listen anyway. So I didn't like really promote the album that much because I was like, this is for me. And if people want to listen and they can relate, then like awesome, that's even better. Yeah. So I had a lot of fun with this. I since my last project, I hadn't even touched my like studio stuff. It was just like there, and I used it as basically like a clothing hanger. You know, I just set all my clothes on there and just never like touched it because I have a bedroom studio. So
nice.
It was just kind of like I didn't touch it, and then so it scared me. It really scared me to make this project.
Yeah, trying to get back into it after such a long break. So your first album was more of like, this is the kind of vibe. This is what I want people to feel when they listen to my album. Yeah. So it was more like of one even palette energetically across the album.
Yeah, like this is me at my best, basically. This is me when I'm fun.
Like teeny bopper, fun, happy times. Yeah. And then the album that you have now, it's like each individual song is expressing a deep individual emotion, in greater detail. Yeah. I really enjoyed the song that you wrote about, when I Googled it this morning, for whatever reason, this was the first song that popped up. But I really enjoyed the song you wrote about, like, running away to Vegas and eloping.
Oh, that is Speed. That is my favorite song on the album.
It is?
Yeah, that's my favorite song on the album. That's, like, the fan favorite, I guess. Yeah. That's the one I've gotten the most response from. Okay. And that's the one, like, funny enough that that's one of the ones that I was the most, like, vulnerable on. Because I sound insane in this song because, like, I'm just talking about how fast I move, how, like, I could just meet someone and be like, oh my god, we might be in love.
Head over heels.
Yeah. Like, I made myself sound insane in that song because that's how my brain works. Okay. And everybody's like, I relate, I get it. And I'm like, really? You guys are crazy too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We all fantasize like that. Oh my gosh. We all fantasize that right person will come and swoop us right off of our feet. But boy, does it not have a tendency to happen that way.
Boy.
Holy shit.
Right.
So, with your music, what is the ultimate goal for you? What is the end goal in a perfect world where everything is totally idealistic?
I feel like my answer to that has, like, changed over the years. I feel like if you would have asked me, like, 5 years ago, like, when I was 22, then my answer would have been, like, ultimate goal, be at, like, Gaga level fame. And, you know,
play arenas.
Yeah, like, play arenas, go on tour, you know, work with, like, some of the best, like, go to award shows, like, things like that. Yeah. Which is not a bad dream to have.
Be immersed in the lifestyle.
Yeah. And then the older I got, because also when I was 22, that's when COVID hit. That's, like, right when COVID hit. So it's, like, the momentum stopped for me, because I was playing a lot of shows at that time. I was doing a lot, and I was really feeling good. I was working on, like, my next project. I was, like, super excited for everything, and then that happened. It all shut down, and it kind of really, like, during COVID, like, really changed my answer to that question, basically. I guess it looks a little different now. Now, the world scares me. Being alive, like, scares me. Not in, like, a... You know,
as a result of the experience of COVID and the lockdowns?
Yeah, I guess it's just kind of opened my eyes to, like, how quickly things can be ripped away, how hard it is to trust, you know, people in the world. Yes. Yeah, and so it's just my anxiety heightened in so many different like areas. Like I have really bad health anxiety.
Okay.
I'm like a complete like hypochondriac. Like
Oh,
if somebody just like tells me they have a cold or something and I haven't even like been near them, then I like will have anxiety for like days until I know for sure that like I don't have it. But, you know, like because then my brain just goes to crazy places. So that definitely got worse during COVID, especially after I got COVID.
Yeah.
Also at the top of COVID, I lost my Nana, which is actually today is the 5 years ago that
I'm sorry.
Lost her. Yeah, but she'd be happy that I'm here doing this.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so just a lot of things happened during COVID that just scared me and really like woke me up from like, oh my God, if I have like a lot of eyes on me, that's gonna freak me out even more because I always thought that I'd be safe in a way, like.
Yeah.
But then being exposed to like everybody, there's like deceit, there's germs, there's like there's like all these different things. There's expectations. I think expectations. I got so depressed that it is even now like hard for me mentally to just motivate myself to even want anything.
Okay.
So I feel like to answer that question now, what I guess it looks like for me is just being able, because I do all different creative things. It's not just music. Like, I'm really, really getting into, I mean, I've always been into, like, film.
Okay.
I've always wanted to make movies. I used to, like, write movies in middle school when I'd finish, like, my SATs. I would, like, go in my notebook and, like, write things.
Really?
Yeah, and so I want to be able to incorporate, like, music and film like together and just like create things. I of course I'd love to be like known, but you know, I just want to be successful in a way that is meaningful.
So if you did end up making a film, you would want to score the film yourself? I could see you being incredible at like painting that palette, that background music, like creating the mood of each scene. I can see you being incredible at that. That was like the perfect answer to segue into my next question.
Perfect.
First of all, I just want to say that before we started this interview, I was telling Slay that I really like the format of this to be like a casual conversation. And so yesterday I was really struggling. I was like, should I write out questions for this interview or not? And then I woke up 2 hours before my alarm was set to go off this morning with tons of questions like brimming into my mind, like pouring into my mind. And what I always say about that is that your angels are really loud. So like, I guess I'm just super touched that you talked about your Nana, because I have to think that that's like part of it. Like, I have to think that some of the questions that are being asked to you today are like what your ancestors would want to ask to you. I always think that there is like a certain magic to that process. That, like,
I didn't even think about that until now, and that's like, I think the energy of today definitely does come from like the angels, ancestors.
Because these questions did not come from me. I'm telling you. I woke up this morning and it was like, ding!
My Nana was probably just like, you need to talk about your shit.
Oh my gosh, I was jotting down these questions as fast as I could possibly like process them through my mind. And actually there was a psychic that I used to go and see. She lives out in Coon Rapids, and she told me that her entire process was before your session, literally the entire night before your session, she meditates on just you for hours and just receives guidance, literally receives guidance from whoever your angel team is.
Contact information.
She's incredible. I will give you her contact. But all of the information she gave me, there's just no way. There is no way she could have known the things that she knew. I mean, granted, yes, she is a psychic, but I could see that people that I knew here in the physical that have passed on, that they were definitely telling her what to guide me about. So I just find these questions to be magical. Because,
I love that.
Because my very next question is, what do you want to leave behind in your creative process and the way things have been going for you? What would you like to leave behind in 2025?
I think I would want to leave behind the overthinking, thinking I have to just be one specific way. That's kind of how I just went into today too. Like I asked you a couple days ago, I said, is this like a dress up thing? Like, do I come in full Slayvannah attire? And then I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? Like, this is still Slayvannah.
Yeah. I just want to be me.
Yeah, it's still me when I'm in full glam too.
Yeah.
It's just, it depends on the kind of day. And today I woke up and I was like, it's not the kind of day where I want to be in like the full attire, but who knows tomorrow? Who knows? Know. So I think I'm leaving behind and working on, because then there was also the part of me that like driving over here, I was like, oh, maybe I should have put the wig on. Maybe I should have like done my makeup. But then I was like, you know what? No, like, this is just how I'm feeling today. And I don't have to overthink things like that, which I usually am like very like overcritical, because like I'm breaking out so bad right now. Okay. And like before, I guess I'd probably be like, no, I absolutely cannot go anywhere then. Yeah. But now I'm just like, you know what? Like, I'm a person.
I'm human.
I'm human.
Yep, I'm just human. Yeah. And you know what? In the Joker, Folie à Deux, that was the most dressed down we've ever seen Gaga in her entire life, but we could still feel her soul. Yeah. And I love the un-Instagramming of social media that's happening going forward. I mean, I think as a culture, we've all kind of decided that we want to like live our lives unfiltered. Yeah. We don't want to have to wear a filter. We don't want to have to wear makeup. I'm a hypocrite because I'm like caked in it right now. I am absolutely caked in it right now. It was so funny when you texted me and you were like, we don't have to dress up today. I was like, girl, I've been getting ready for 2 hours. I have been getting ready for 2 hours. If you wanted to send that text, you needed to send that. Woo, that time has passed.
It took me 5 minutes to get ready.
Well, no, because you did get in touch, a couple days ago, and you were like, should I show up as the pop star Slayvannah? And I was like, Yeah. I was like, I better figure out my look as well. Let's see. Who in your life is your greatest supporter and your biggest fan?
Okay.
And if there are multiple people, that's appropriate too.
I kid you not, I was just talking to you before we started this, my friend Eli. Yeah. Slayvannah updates. He's my Club Chalamet. He is probably my biggest fan. Just because he, without me ever even having to ask, he immediately just like shows support. He creates hype. He gets hyped about these things, and honestly, like, I think it's his energy that really made me want to pick this back up. He'd ask me like, when is the next Slayvannah coming out? Like, I shared because I still have a whole album that I was gonna release before the Sphere ever came about. Yeah. And I'm still gonna release that album, but it's gonna take a lot of time because it's gonna be a visual album. Fun fact. Good times. But I have the Google Drive folder of those tracks like shared with him. Yeah. And he like is always coming up with ideas. He's always like, he's almost more passionate about it than I am sometimes. Yeah. Which really motivates me because I'm like, okay, he sees something in me, as me and as Slayvannah, Yeah. And he's definitely like my number one supporter. Other than that, it's like obviously like my family, and my other friends, my sister, who I live with. She's always like brutally honest with me about when things are good and when things are not. She texted me the night that the album came out, and she's such a bitch. She texted me and she said I'm nervous to listen to the album. I said, why? She said, because what if I don't like it? Aww. And she likes it. So we're all good. But yeah, it's just I think it's fun. I have a lot of people in my life who make it fun to do this stuff, because it's like they're gonna support me no matter what, but they're also gonna tell me if they don't like it.
What is Club Chalamet? I don't know
Club
what that
Chalamet,
is.
oh my god, yeah, that's right. You have to be like super...
I'm sorry.
No, you have to be like super in on Stan Twitter to like know this.
Okay.
Some of you watching might know. I'm sure you have to. Club Chalamet is a Timothy Chalamet fan account.
Oh.
Run by this like 57-year-old woman.
Really?
Yeah, and she's like obsessed with him. And she sometimes gets like so jealous of like the women he dates.
Oh my god. That's funny.
So that's like, definitely do a deep dive on Club Chalamet.
I am looking this up after we're done with this interview.
Like she's like always the first one to report these things. Like she is like, I think she's on Instagram and Twitter.
Okay.
Club Chalamet.
Oh my gosh. You know what? And seriously, when it comes to people being our biggest fans, like, we need people to reflect our highest self back to us when we lose touch with that and when we can't find it anymore. Because the truth of the matter is, like, working as an artist, it gets pretty exhausting, doesn't it?
Yep.
How many different jobs are you doing all in one when it comes to being a self-made pop artist? How many different jobs? Can you detail, like...
Well, first of all, normal job to make money. So...
Yep, so you have a day job.
Yeah,
funding,
day job.
Funding the artistic project.
With minimum wage.
Yeah.
So, day job, which usually for artists ends up being like restaurant jobs, which is what I've had like my entire life. But other than that, it's like making the music. It's figuring out like, because everybody's obsessed with branding. Yes. And it is really hard not to get in your head about branding this day and age with like, you know, being an artist. But there's the having an idea and then working to expand on that idea. Yeah. You know, because life just, it drains you have no like mental capacity at a certain point. So just creating is hard enough. Yes. It is like a full-time job being a creative person. Yeah.
Are you running all of your own social media accounts?
I am.
As
I do everything. Okay. I am a self-managed like
so then,
all that stuff.
Do you have to just prioritize like, okay, these are the social media accounts that get the most attention, so these are the ones that I'm gonna produce the most content for
usually
this month?
It's Instagram for me. I focus more on Instagram. Okay. I had to, you know, do a whole rollout like by myself too. Yeah. So I had to make the cover art. Then I had to, you know,
Did you do the graphic design for the
me cover? In collaboration with Swafford. I had a concept. Swafford! Yeah, I had a concept, and then I sent it to him, and I said, because he has this other like alter ego on Spotify called Fizzy Drinks. Really? And it's this very bright, fun, colorful aesthetic. Okay. And I was like, I had initially sent him, because the sphere was going to be green and orange, like Nickelodeon. Okay. And I was like, yo, can you like tune this up a little bit? Because I'm not really too good with like graphic design. Yeah. So he took that and then made it better. So yeah, it was me collaboration with Swafford. And then I also collaborated with him. He did a couple of the like structuring areas on the song Speed. Okay. But that's kind of the only like collaboration that I did throughout this whole album process. Everything else was like me. Okay. 100%. Wow. And so I guess there's the making the cover art, figuring out when to announce it, and I announced it too early. Okay. I announced it when I didn't have it done yet. I had maybe one song done. Yeah. And I was like, you know, maybe if I announce it now, like at the top of the new year, and I announce it for like February, then it'll really like make me push myself to like finish it. Okay. Then February came around and I was like, oh no, like I can't come up with anything. I tried
writer's block.
A lot of writer's block.
Okay.
And
that is the scariest moment.
Yeah. And then I pushed it back a little bit.
And then I assume you regretted announcing it by that point.
Yep.
You were like, now we're stuck.
I didn't have anything. This entire album, well, at least most of it, was written and recorded the week that I submitted it. So, like, that, like, first, like, 2 weeks in March. Yeah. That was when I wrote and recorded most of this album.
Wow.
Yeah.
No sleep, huh?
No sleep.
Get on the tour bus. No sleep.
Club. Never
no
club.
sleep.
Clubs.
Yeah. to quote the one and only Lady Gaga.
That's how I felt. So yeah.
Okay. What is missing for you right now? Overall, not just you as an artist. What is missing from your human experience overall right now?
Romantic love for sure. It's like one of the big things.
Yeah.
And I guess money.
Okay.
Money.
Okay.
Resources.
Proper funding.
Yeah, proper funding.
Okay.
Yeah, other than that, I feel like I am blessed with like a lot of things.
Yeah.
There are just like small things that are missing that could probably contribute to me moving forward in my life.
Yeah, and like having a more well-rounded experience as well, because sometimes, especially like as a creative, it's like you are just like slamming your head into the same wall, and sometimes it's so hard to like zoom out and see the bigger picture of your
have problems
life.
with that.
Yes, and at the same time, I think that like hyper focus is like a tool that we use to really, you know, hammer out our creative works, but at the same time, it does limit our experience and make us restrict other areas of our life so that we can give birth to our new creative works, because it really is like a labor of love. I feel like a lot of people don't realize what a labor of love it is to be a creative. It will, the highs are high and the lows are.
It creates you and it destroys you, it sustains you, but it also kills you.
Yeah. So, but it would kill you not to do it. Yeah. The only thing that would kill you worse than what you're going through now is if you were to stop doing it. Yeah. So what is driving you to keep going?
Just I just feel empty without creativity. And I think about this sometimes. I'm like, even if I'm not doing anything with it, if I wasn't capable of just having creative ideas or outlets, then like I'd lose my mind. I'd probably like off myself. Yeah. Because it's like I'll be feeling something and it'll be like, if I wasn't a creative person, where would I put any of this? Yeah. But now it's like, okay, this bad thing happened, this intense thing happened. I'm going to write about it in my book, or I'm going to write about it in my next album, or I'm going to make a movie about it. It's a good concept. So it's just like, it makes the struggles worth it because you can make something of it when you're an artist.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. I read a meme the other day that said, damn, this escape room is really hard to get out of. And then the person next to him says, you're at work. We're at work right now. And it's like, God. Dude, actually, because I've noticed that my hugest, most like crippling anxiety attacks happen, A, when I'm at work, B, when I'm on autopilot performing my work function. Because it's like, okay, my brain and my body are engaging me in doing this thing on autopilot that I already know how to do, like times 1,000. And the rest of me, like my consciousness is just trapped there. Yeah. Like literally trapped stationary in this space where it's like nothing that is of meaning to me is flowing through me or out of me at all at this moment. And it becomes like a prison. Having to have a day job when you really want to be doing your creative work is such a bitch and a half. So hard. I just picked up a second job, which is also a restaurant job. Yeah. So I'm going to be working at restaurant ×2. Okay. And we are actually currently like 5 minutes away from my other job right now. Are you? Okay. I'm so sorry. I'm off today though. So okay. Good. I'm so glad. Yeah, we get the day off vibes. Yeah. Seriously, we need that. So during COVID, did you move at all into the live streaming space for your creative performance? I did a live stream performance at the garage. I performed at the garage. Okay. They had this like winter snow days show, and it was live streamed, so there wasn't an audience there. Okay.
And I wasn't a fan of it just because there wasn't an audience there.
Yeah.
And I am very much a feed off of the energy of the audience and, like, vice versa. So it was just very weird. The sound was weird. Like, I watched it back. It's still on YouTube somewhere, and it is, like, a disaster. Yeah. It was not a good show at all. Okay. And because live streaming, it sounds different. I can't hear. We didn't have, like, in-ears or anything. Okay. So I can't hear what they're going to be hearing on there. I couldn't even hear myself singing. Okay. So it was just not it. I did, like, want to live stream, like, just on my phone some shows. Mm-hmm. But it's just never been something that I can make work. Because I wanted to be able to have all the audio stuff to back it up. Exactly. So yeah, I've never been a live stream kind of girl. I think maybe during COVID I went live on Instagram a couple times, but that was like more me like losing my mind on Instagram, like trying on wigs and like doing face masks and stuff like that.
Sometimes that stuff is really fun though.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
I tune into all kinds of live streams.
Yeah, I would just go live, and I feel like everybody who followed me was probably like, what is she doing this time? Like, I have one where I was, like, trying on my wig, and I said, I look like Nicki Minaj. Like, I was, like, living for it, but I had nothing else to do. So.
There is a live stream on TikTok called Crash Out Kermie, and it is literally a Kermit the Frog puppet crashing the fuck out. Mm-hmm. And it is the most wildly entertaining thing on the internet.
That's probably how I looked.
You don't have to have a perfectly curated show in order to entertain people in the live streaming space.
Crash Out Kermie.
I love Crash Out Kermie. I can't get enough.
My God.
I cannot get enough. I'm telling Kermie. You. So, what is your favorite stage that you've performed thus far?
That's tricky.
Favorite venue, favorite stage, favorite festival, anything of that nature?
I think... this is difficult. I mean, obviously I want to say, like, First Ave. Like, the Digital Age Rave was a very, like, special show.
Thank you so much for putting that on.
Oh my God, yeah. No, thank you for being part of it.
That was amazing.
It was so much fun. I think that one is my favorite just because of, like, the people I had. It was a very, like, loving, creative community of people that, like, I put together, like, intentionally.
Yes, and that was the day I met Benjamin Poss and Swafford.
Yeah.
Thanks to you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God. It's just such a great group of people. We had Bob, the commonly misspelled.
Oh my God. Doug, he was sensational.
Leadfoot, the iconic.
Oh my God. Leadfoot.
Oh, I love him.
Oh, he was so loving.
I love him so much.
He was so loving.
And he DJs a lot at Jet Set too.
Yes.
And I've gone to see like some of his sets, and I'm going after the Charlie XCX show in a couple weeks too, because he's DJing. He is, kid you not,
incredible,
amazing.
So incredible.
So we have him.
I went to his New Year's Eve show at the Ice House. And I mean, he fucking brought the house down.
He never misses.
He was in the zone. I think it took him an hour to notice that I was there, like literally. And I was like pressed up against the front of the stage.
His energy is
like
this.
Crazy.
He locked
like a super fan.
In.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We literally sound like super fans right now.
I literally was fangirling so hard. I was at the front row like, oh my God.
This is the Leadfoot fan
I know this person.
We are his Club Chalamet. We are his Club Chalamet.
Seriously. I was like telling people next to me like, oh, I know him. I know the DJ.
I know the DJ.
I was being so fucking obnoxious because I was like, oh no.
I love him.
That is a celebrity right there.
Yeah.
Like when you watch him in the zone, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Like
wow.
He's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there's Benjamin Poss, obviously.
Oh my God.
I love him so much.
Benjamin is my Eli.
Yeah.
Yeah. Benjamin is the one that won't let me forget that I'm an artist.
Yeah.
Because I want to just throw it all in the garbage. Yeah. And, I want to flush it down the toilet and watch it vanish because, it is. It is, excruciating at times. And sometimes it feels like you'll never get there. And so, I'm a sellout who became a DJ. So here we are.
I'm a sellout who became a sellout. So.
The digital age rave was incredible. It was that was such a great crowd too.
It really
the vibes were immaculate.
Yeah, my mom was wasted in the front row. She had her there's that video online of the digital age rave like promo, I guess, because we did plan to try to make it a tour. Like we wanted to take it on the road, but just booking venues became so hard, and then like having to kind of like
sell it as a package,
package
it and sell it.
Yeah, because it's like we'd have to also consider like traveling costs, and it's like we don't have the budget for that.
Yeah,
obviously. So it's something I still want to do someday, but it's just it became a little bit difficult. But that was my favorite show. But I also loved when you asked me to play VFW. I think that was the first time I met you. When you asked me to play VFW.
Okay.
In like 2021, I think.
Okay.
That the sound system there was really good. You know, obviously there was like issues with the payment and all that stuff, and the promo and all that VFW. Stuff that they had. But
wait, or are we thinking about the Turf Club? Wait.
No.
We played the Uptown VFW. Okay. Yes. Now I'm getting. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I
we
remember.
played the Turf Club too, and that one was. I don't remember actually. That one.
I'm so sorry.
That one, I think the only beef I had with that one was that it went so late. It went so long. So by the time I actually did my set, I remember like nobody was there.
Okay.
And then afterwards, these drunk people came up to me, and this white woman, came up to me and was like, "You know you have the name Slave in your name, right?"
Oh, wow.
And she was trying to cancel me for my name. And I was like, you know what, she's drunk, whatever. She was like, I will send you name suggestions. I was like, girl, do it and leave me alone, please.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm so sorry.
No, so that was
I'm sorry.
That one wasn't one of my favorites, but the sound system was really good.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But I think Digital Age Rave is like up there. I did like the last show that I played at Lush.
Oh my gosh, that stage was gorgeous. You were sending me video of the stage, and that stage was absolutely stunning.
I fell off of it.
I'm so sorry that I couldn't make it to that show. I still feel bad about it.
That's okay. I had such a good time there still.
You fell off the stage?
I did while I was rehearsing.
Oh my god.
Before I even played the show, I fell like on my leg, and I had a bruise like this big on my leg.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So
but
it was
still
limping around for your performance?
Not really. It was more just like a bruise. It like hurt. I didn't like sprain anything. But it was still so much fun. Okay. They ended up like the sound guy there is amazing. Yeah. Shout out to the sound guy at Lush. I can't remember your name, but you're incredible. He asked if I had any like visuals or like a logo. And I was like, oh my god, I didn't know we could do visuals. So he let me like pull some up really quick. Like I had my logo. So he put that on there, and it was just like it was so like effortless. And then we got our own like rehearsal mics, which was really nice. Okay. And he was very like accommodating. He made sure that we liked how it sounded. Yeah. Because a lot of venues that I've played, like the sound guys are either assholes or they don't do sound check at all. So I really appreciate going to a venue and having someone who's like, let's get this right so you are happy with it.
I've had some sound guys look at me like they're gonna kill me before.
I need to say this. Fucking Poorhouse downtown, which I think are they still open?
Wait, I don't want to get sued.
Venue that is downtown Minneapolis by the train station. Fuck you, fuck your sound guy, who I couldn't find. Oh no! I got to that venue.
Allegedly for educational purposes only.
Yeah. This is all alleged.
Yeah. For entertainment.
Allegedly, I got there.
For entertainment purposes only. I'm literally it's just liability stuff. I'm so sorry. I do believe you. I believe you.
Allegedly, I got there. And, I got there, and I've played there a few times. And it's like, it's a fun venue. It's a big venue.
Yeah.
But
can I tell you something?
What?
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
No, you're good. But I got there, and I remember one of the times I was performing there, I had a headset mic that I wanted to use. Yeah. The green room was really nice. Okay. I had a headset mic that I wanted to use, and I couldn't find the sound guy. Finally found him at the bar, flirting with the girls, having a drink. I'm like, dude, can we figure this out? And then he spends like like half an hour trying to figure it out, and then trying to figure it out, and then he's like, I don't think we could do this, I don't think it's gonna work. Barely even tried. So I had to use a regular microphone, and I was like, this sucks. But whatever, it was fine. But it was just an inattentive sound guy. Like, that was insane. And that was kind of both times I played there. The first time I played there was for what was it called? Raw Artists.
Okay.
It was one of those like pay to play things.
Okay.
That's when I was easy to scam.
Okay.
So I played that.
Gotta start somewhere.
And just both times that I played that place, it just like wasn't my favorite. The stage is big and it's a fun venue because it's like got 2 levels and like a couple bars. But yeah.
I confess that the very last time that I played at that particular venue, allegedly for educational purposes only, the sound guy might have shown up an hour after he was supposed to be there, and I was the first band going on after the daytime activities, which it was all sports bar activities. So there was a projector projecting a football game onto the projector screen behind me on stage. And when I tell you that the sound guy could not figure out how to turn off this fucking football game, and you know, every band, we're on such tight time slots as it is, that it was like, well, we gotta play our set. I played the first half of that set with a football game being projected onto me for the first half of my set, and can I tell you, I can ignore most things. I mean, in show business, you know, the show must go on. Shit happens. Things go wrong with equipment all the time. I mean, I'm used to shit going wrong on stage. I can ignore most things, but that had me in a blind fucking rage.
Oh my god. I'd be pissed.
I was furious.
Oh my god.
It was like, okay, so for 20 minutes I've been performing with a football game being projected onto my face. And you know, like the laser bright, like LED white lights of a projector.
Like chaotic.
I'm like blinded, like completely blinded. Like,
chaotic energy.
It's like, here, let me just be in the foreground of this football game that you guys are sitting and watching while you're...
It's like, are you sure you guys want me to perform? Like,
literally,
it's a good day for me to perform?
They didn't turn over the venue at all. From sports bar to like entertain, to like it's showtime or whatever. You know how normally they'll like take away all of the like tables and chairs, like all of the high tops and stuff? And they change it from sports bar to like actual dance floor? None of that was taken away. People were literally eating sandwiches and watching the football game projected onto my physical person for the first half of that set, and I could have fucking killed somebody. I'm not gonna lie, I could have killed somebody.
I would be so mad.
I got off that stage and I think I went and meditated in the bathroom because I'm like, I'm not gonna talk to anyone until I fix my until I fix myself, like on the inside. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That's insane.
What's your dream stage? Do you have a dream location or a dream stage that you want to play?
I mean, main room, First Ave is one thing, but the booking allegedly is very difficult and is not really for you allegedly if you don't have a large following.
Okay.
So I don't know that that'll ever happen unless I become super famous. And then if I did become super famous and they wanted me to play their venue, I'd say no. Because it's like, if you didn't see me as an artist then, how are you going to see me now? But that is still like a dream just because of all the amazing people that have played that stage.
Yes.
But also just like I've gone to a lot of my concerts at XL Energy Center.
Okay.
So that's where I saw Gaga for the first time.
Okay.
So that's definitely like one of the dreams. But I think number one, I know like fuck the Grammys, it's, not the people's choice, it's like a bunch of old white men. But the Grammys is somewhere I've always wanted to like perform. That stage is just a stage that I've always wanted to like dominate. The same way that Gaga does, because that is one thing about me is when I was playing just like little bars like the Moto E, when they did like their open mics there, there was just a little stage by the bar, and I would still at little stages like that like perform and put shows together and sets together as if I was like performing at the Grammys. So I feel like if I made it to the Grammys, like, the things that I would do with that stage, big things.
Yeah.
Big things.
Yeah. Let me just say that when I was listening through your album today, the song Kids has a very full arena sound.
Yeah.
And I actually wondered to myself if you were visualizing performing in an arena when you wrote that.
Yeah, see, that one is one that I would have pictured performing at, like, a stadium. Almost.
I mean, yes.
Just
the
because,
sound of that song is massive.
That is the one song on the album that I actually recorded that song in, like, 2020.
Okay.
So that song is, like, 5 years old, and I recorded it for, I have this friend, her name is Elle Ruland, and we went to the same school back when we went to Hope Academy in Minneapolis, and it was a very, like, Christian school.
Okay.
And so we had a lot of, like, religious pressure on us since we're part of the LGBTQ plus community.
Yeah.
So Elle started a podcast basically, like, interviewing people who have had that same religious trauma.
Yeah.
And she asked me to do a theme song. And I said, okay, what kind of song? And she said, I want it to sound very, like, rock. I want it to sound very Slayvannah. I want a lot of swearing in it. And she also said, I want a line in there that says, don't expect a miracle if you're talking to a wall. Because that's what her church that she grew up in, they had a sign that said that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I went home and I was like, let me do some sort of, like, guitar.
Okay.
So I just came up with a da-da-da-da-da-da.
You played the guitar on that song?
No.
Oh, okay.
That is, like, MIDI. I did all of that, like,
okay,
MIDI.
cool. Still.
But, yeah, and then
I
just, the lyrics started flowing. So I was like, all I have to do is say fuck a lot. And that's easy because I'm angry about this stuff. Yeah, so that song for sure, like, it's a very liberating song because it really does mean something. It comes from a very personal place, not just for me, but probably even more for my friends like Elle and, you know, friends who really grew up in strictly religious households.
Yeah.
Because mine was, like, religious, but not, like, crazy religious, you know? So, yeah, that's kind of where that whole...
Can you explain a little bit about what the song 17 is about?
17 is a song that is a message to my 17-year-old self.
Okay.
It's, like, 10 years ago me.
Okay.
It's just kind of I'm, I'm scared of growing up. Growing up doesn't get easier, but, you know, it's worth it. You know, I'm here still.
Yeah.
You know, we made it this far. But it's also, like, the reflecting of, like, you know, I also have the part of me that feels like, really, what is the point of living after 17? They say that, you know, your peak is 17. That quote from, have you ever seen the movie Do Revenge?
No.
First of all, great movie, watch it. It's on
Really?
Netflix. Do Revenge with Maya Hawke.
Okay.
But Sarah Michelle Gellar is in that, and her character says something that's like, you're never more alive than you are when you're 17.
Wow.
And I also think of just that mindset of, like, yeah, because, like, when you, like, really zoom out and you just think of, like, basically, like, yeah, you're kind of reaching your peak at 17 because all you do is, like, become an adult the rest of your life. And I guess it's just kind of a message to me being like, you know, that's a hard thing, but it's also, like, a beautiful thing to, like, grow up, because there are also a lot of really awesome things that I've experienced since being 17.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a message to my 17-year-old self being like, we're okay. It does get hard, and it might even get harder as time goes on, but like, it's worth it at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Final question. What don't people know about you? What don't people understand about you?
I feel like people don't understand how many different sides there are to me.
Yeah.
I feel like when I have a very crazy, silly side. God, that makes me sound so, like, fucking, like, I'm silly goofy. But I have, like, a really, like, funny side where it's like I will say the most outrageous things just for like a laugh. I like to make people laugh. I like to be funny, silly.
Yeah.
But there's also the side of me that is incredibly like serious.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I am being serious, it's hard for some people to take me seriously because I am such a big like jokester. I am somebody who like likes to joke around. But I'm also somebody who doesn't struggle with like having a serious conversation.
Yeah.
So I feel like people see it as like deceptive in a way because I could switch up very fast, and I feel like I know how to like gauge energy and figure out when the right time to say something is. But yeah, I feel like that's something that people don't know about me is that I am like I'm somebody who's very good at blending into like a chameleon, like blending into
certain environments
well. Like I think I'm very good at reading a room. I think sometimes I'm overly good at it. Sometimes I overread a room. But yeah, I feel like just people even in my personal life like don't really know the full, true, real me. Because there are so many different sides of me that I just look absolutely insane, I feel like. And I feel like there are some people who just won't take me seriously enough because they see my, like, more lighthearted side a lot of the time. So I think when that side comes out, people think that I'm stupid, but I'm not.
Yeah. I feel like people forget when someone's an entertainer, especially, and you present that way to the public, you present that way in the public eye, like when you do kind of reach out for help in your really vulnerable moments, people are almost like waiting for the punchline. I've found. And it's a very scary moment. I can remember the moment that happened to me where I was like, oh shit, I've been writing punchlines online for so many years in a row now that right now I'm like really dying and I'm really screaming out for help, and everyone's like laugh reacting it because they literally are waiting for the punchline. Nobody fucking takes me seriously. Holy shit.
There's like haha, just like little joke. Like...
And there's that moment of panic where you're like, oh, I've been entertaining you guys as the fucking dumbass court jester for so many years that you literally can't see that I'm like crying out for help right now and I'm desperate. Like it's a terrifying moment.
I had that. I'm just now I'm still in it. I'm still in like the thick of it. I hope it's okay that I'm being very, very vulnerable on this show.
Please do.
I hope it's okay.
Oh, I finally have my own show, which means we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Period.
Yeah.
I, for the past like 6 months, have just been progressively like getting worse mentally. And it kind of like came to a boil. My car completely like broke down almost a month ago. And that was like my last straw. So I got very like suicidal, and it was the kind of I feel that way. Like I have depression, so I've gotten in like modes where I'm so depressed that like I feel kind of like borderline suicidal. But this like the past 6 months, hardest time for me to like mask it, and I'm usually really good at masking my emotions. And so it became to where like people were noticing I was being more open about like I'm not doing well, I'm not okay, and I don't know what to do. And that changed actually just a couple days ago, or it started to change, because 2 of my best friends, like, they sat me down and they were like, we have distanced ourselves from you a little bit because it's so hard for us to hear you talk about how you don't want to be here anymore, and we just like don't know what to do, and we just love you so much and we're here for you. We just need you to not give up on yourself, basically. Yeah, I know. At first in my brain I was just like, it was a little bit it was from the perspective, I guess, of somebody who is depressed. At first it was off-putting and kind of like it hurt, at first.
Yeah.
But it's also something that, like, I can see because I know when the tables are turned. I have people, in my life who have put the pressure on me to basically save them.
Okay.
And I started to realize I kind of did put that on my friends without knowing it.
Okay.
Because these are two of my, like, closest friends. They are really amazing people, really good friends. And I think it was just tough love. And it was tough love that I needed. Because I had therapy the next day, luckily. And it just was kind of I realized that, like, my friends, they saw a strength in me that I didn't see. Yeah. And it frustrated them to see that, like, I didn't think I was that strong.
Yeah.
So I just, it was a very good talk. We all, like, cried. And it was just, like, a beautiful moment of, like, you guys were distancing yourselves from me because you just love me so much,
Yeah.
And I could see it from their perspective. Like, I wouldn't know what to do either. They didn't distance themselves on purpose. They just didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I definitely was not making it easy. I was making every single thing, like, very bleak. I was very much like, they'd be like, try to give me a little hopeful thought. And I'd be like, yeah, if I'm around that long, 27 Club, here I come. And it just became, those are thoughts that, like, it's okay that I have, I realized. But to speak it out loud over and over again, knowing nobody can do anything about it, is just, it wasn't fair to them.
Okay.
But I am glad I talked about it. I go to my therapist and I tell him all this stuff.
Yeah.
And my friends who I had this conversation with, they were like, no, like, keep talking to us, keep coming to us. Yeah. But, like, don't give up on yourself is what we want. We don't want you to give up on yourself because, you will, like, get through it and you do have support and you are not alone. And so I've really just been feeling a little more optimistic the past few days, at least. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that is the nature of depression, is that it does narrow your vision into that dead end space where you can't see past today. Yeah. You can't see
it's
past.
It's like four walls that are literally, like,
everything
closing
is
in on
closing
you.
in. Yeah, exactly. And you do get, like, trapped in that space. That truly is the nature of the beast when it comes to depression. I mean, I truly believe that everyone who has succumbed to suicide, they truly believed in that moment that there was no other option. Yeah. Because depression will tell you that is the lie that depression tells you, is that there's nothing past today. Yeah. There's nothing left to live for. There's nothing past today. And it's hard to get out of that space when you get stuck there. And so
I'm, like, clawing my way out right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad you have a good support group. Yeah. I got to meet your friends at your birthday, and what an incredible time. And like, what a great bunch of human beings.
I have really, really good friends.
They were incredible. Yeah. Like, I loved even just being in their energy. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. I have sweet,
amazing friends, and that is, like, a big reason why I stick around and why I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna live in this depression. It's not easy. Yeah. And it doesn't just, like, go away like that. Yeah. And sometimes it goes away and then it comes back. But I think that's part of life. It's just like, there's a song by the 1975 called "I Always Want to Die Sometimes," and one of the lines that always sticks with me is, if you can't survive, just try. Because I'm like, end of the day, I might feel like the world is ending, whatever. My only job right now is to stick around. Yeah. Like, my only job right now is to stick around, because these thoughts, they're like a poison. And it's like, you have to, like, purge that poison. Yeah. And so, like, you just gotta not let it, bring you down. I've had a lot of...
Your mind will lie to you.
Yeah. I've had a lot of experience with... I had a friend when I was 17 who successfully killed himself. And he was one of my first music friends. I met him online through this website called Bandmix. Okay. And we were only friends for probably, like, 6 months or so. Yeah. But we became so close, and he believed in me so much. And he was 22 while I was 17. And it was just, he was the most creative, like, brilliant guy. His name is Travis. And I didn't see it. I didn't even understand really the concept as much of, like, suicide and how real it was. So I've had a friend who killed himself, and then I've had a friend who I found overdosed.
Wow.
Or overdosing. And he's still here. You know,
Okay.
we got it all figured out. He's still here, and he's still one of my best friends, and I'm actually seeing him today.
Oh.
So, like, you know,
good.
it's just
Good.
I think about if he'd been successful in it, oh my God, the adventures that we would have missed out on together, the adventures that he would have missed out on, you know.
Yeah.
He has this amazing boyfriend who is so good to him, and they're both coming over to my house tonight, and we're gonna watch Survivor. And it's like, we went to Florida last year as a, like, big, like, group trip, and it was just the most, like, special time. And I think about, like, 2 years ago, if he'd been successful in what he was trying to do, we would have missed out on all that. So I think of, like, that with myself too. It's like, there are good times to come. There are bad times to come too, but, you know, there's a reason to stick around. So I've been reading this book called The Happiness Trap too, my therapist told me about. Yeah. And it redefines, like, happiness for you. So I'm just working at that. It is harder when you're depressed.
I'm gonna check that out.
But yeah, no, it's really good.
Thank you for sharing that.
But yeah, so all in all, it's a very real, you know, struggle. And so putting out this album was so hard for me. Yeah. Because the emotions and feelings just came to a boil after even finishing the album. Yeah. Because just realizing all these people thought so highly of me, and I didn't think that of myself. So.
We can't always see it. Yep. It's just the truth. Yep. I mean, truly. We have our good days. We have our bad days. I have days where I think I truly don't exist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you have it too. You're like, does anyone notice
derealization
that I exist?
Like, that's derealization, depersonalization. Yep. And I have realized that
all the time. All the time.
Yeah. So I have that often. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being so open and, like, coming here with your whole heart open and
thank you for letting me.
and really ready to share, like, everything about your process and everything that it's taken to, like, bring you to this place where you are today. Yeah. You're doing a really good job.
Thank you.
I'm sorry that I'm, like, tearing up.
Some of them also are tearing up.
No, because, like, sorry, sometimes when I'm saying something to someone, I can tell that someone else is actually, like, saying it through me. So I think your Nana wants you to know that you're doing a really fucking good job. And I love you, dude. I love you too. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to, like, open up the floodgates, but I could tell
it's a beautiful moment.
I could genuinely tell that message was coming from somewhere else. I love you. Thank you so much for being on Conversations. And anytime you want to come back and promote anything, you are more than welcome. You're the fucking best. Like, thank you. I love 100%. You. Slayvannah, everyone.
Oh,
dude,
man.
I'm so sorry. I, like, did not mean to cry. I'm so sorry.